When Benjamin Netanyahu gives speech, he often addresses Western nations and tries to tell us that if Israel wins, it's our victory too, and if Israel loses, it's our loss too. In the previous short video, I spoke about event that happened in 1938 when Western countries betrayed Czechoslovakia and they stood for Hitler. But the video was short, so I had to speak fast and could not say much in 1 minute. So in this longer video, I want to compare the situation that is nowadays in Israel to the situation that was in 1938 in Czechoslovakia. And the history is repeating itself, but the politicians have not learned from history. So the situation in 1938 was as follows. In Czechoslovakia, there were 3 million Germans living here, and Hitler wanted to invade Czechoslovakia. Our country was one of the most developed countries in the world. It was 10 years before communists took control. There was a capitalism here. It was democracy. It was a free country. There was freedom of speech, all the human freedoms. And so Hitler had to use lie. Hitler lied that Czechoslovakia oppresses Germans, that the Germans do not have equal rights as other nations, that they are persecuted, oppressed, discriminated, and so on. And Western politicians wanted to make peace with Hitler. They did not want to be in war in Hitler. So, do you know what they did? Instead of standing for democracy, instead of standing for Czechoslovakia, they sided with Hitler. They met in Germany, and the people who met in München, in German town Munich, or München in German, were the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, the Prime Minister of France, Italian dictator, and Hitler. And do you know what they discussed? They discussed the situation of Germans in Czechoslovakia. So they discussed the problem that was happening in Czechoslovakia and did not even bother to invite Czechoslovakia. And at this meeting, they decided that Czechoslovakia must give some territories to Germany. Czechoslovakia had two options. Either to fight with Germany because allies of Czechoslovakia betrayed us. France, United Kingdom, they all betrayed us. Or we could just comply. So the president Beneš resigned, and they handed the territory out to Germany. But of course, Germany was not satisfied with this territory. Later, they invaded Czechoslovakia and annexed the western part of our country. The Prime Minister of France and United Kingdom believed that if they supported Hitler, they would create peace. But the problem was that a year later, the Second World War started, and the weapons that were taken from Czechoslovakia were used by Hitler to kill French people, to kill British people. I recall one presentation given by my student, and it was about tanks and different kinds of weapons, and he showed a picture of a tank, and he said this was one of the best tanks made in 1930s. It was made in Czechoslovakia and was used during the Second World War. So I asked him a question, who used this tank? And he told me the answer that I expected. Said, of course, Germany used Czechoslovakian tanks to fight against French. So they decided to stand for Hitler, and our loss, the loss of Czechoslovakia, was their loss too. Nowadays, Israel is fighting for its existence. It is in much worse situation than Czechoslovakia because Hamas does not only want to destroy the state of Israel, it wants to murder all the Jews. Hitler did not plan to murder all the Czechs and Slovaks, so they are in much worse situation. So Israel must fight for its existence. But it's really sad that the Western countries do not stand for democratic country. They do not stand for a free country, but they stand for terror organization. The same way they stood for Hitler in 1938. Israel will not comply. Israel will not lose this war, but you are on the wrong side of the history.